Loving you is suicide, and it's getting harder every day. I'm trying to keep myself alive.
Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here, and once again we find ourselves, or I find myself, about to go to another movie, doing the first part of a Went to the Movies review. And tonight I'm seeing, well, before I get to that, we're kind of reaching the end of the summer movie season at this point. Summer's not quite over yet. It's getting there. And really, other than, I think it's called Kudo and the Two Strings, which looks really good, that's kind of it for movies this summer. I mean, this summer movie season was really, really disappointing. I mean, it started off super strong with Civil War. Well, no, I can't even say that it technically started with BVS, because that was in March. You can't say that was summer. But it technically started really strong with Captain America 3, Captain America Civil War, and it's just been downhill from there. I mean, nothing was as good as that. Everything has just been progressively worse since the summer gone, in my opinion. But yeah, I am about to go see Suicide Squad, which I actually wasn't aware of the fact until really like a week ago, that I thought this was going to be a complete standalone movie, kind of like Deadpool is, where Deadpool takes place it's a Marvel movie, and it has the X-Men in it, but it's a standalone movie at the moment it is. I thought that Suicide Squad was going to be kind of like that, but evidently this is movie number 3 in the DC movie universe, the DCMU. It starts with Man of Steel, and then goes to BVS, Suicide Squad, Justice League next year. Justice League and Wonder Woman. Which, that trailer for Justice League, what's that movie supposed to be about? I mean, all it is, that trailer is just Batman going around recruiting people, and it's too early, but it's like, you showed me nothing. You showed me absolutely nothing. You showed me Batman talking to people. I don't know who they're fighting. Well, I do. It's supposed to be Darkseid, but I mean, like, you don't see that in the trailer. You just see him. Anyway, Wonder Woman, though, looks good. That looks like it's going to be good. But you know what? That's not Suicide. None of that's about Suicide Squad, which I'm about to go see right now. Here are my thoughts going into Suicide Squad. And I've tried very hard to avoid any kind of spoilers at this point. I actually completely, I don't know any spoilers, but I've avoided reviews at this point. I actually haven't seen the 3rd trailer for Suicide Squad, which I think was released during Comic-Con. So there's supposed to be like new footage that we haven't seen yet, a circle in the sky and stuff. I haven't seen that trailer yet. So I'm going in without seeing this trailer. But from everything, you can't avoid being online and not seeing, at the very least, headlines. So I've seen headlines. I haven't read reviews. A friend of mine saw it last night. He's the one that constantly gives me shit and just is a troll. But anyway, here I am going. Here's what my thoughts going into this movie. I didn't even know what the Suicide Squad was really until I'd heard it, but I never knew what it was. But I really didn't know what it was until the trailer came out, the first teaser trailer. I'm like, okay, okay, I get it, okay, all right, let's go with this. And the first real trailer, trailer number 1, not the teaser, but number 1, that was cut to Bohemian Rhapsody, was, in my opinion, the greatest trailer ever edited by a human being. I mean, that trailer, the timing, it's awesome. That trailer is the greatest thing ever. I love that trailer. That movie, I'm like, this movie's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. If the editing is anything like this, it's gonna be great. The closer that we've gotten to this trailer, to this movie release, the more I'm like, I don't think this is going to be any good. I really don't. Because I realized while watching the trailers, all we're seeing are action shots, but we don't know what they're doing, and we don't like. And you're just kind of getting that introduction of characters and what they can do, but not what they're doing. Like, we don't know what the mission is. In the trailer, they explain, well, we've got these supervillains, all these bad people. Something bad is coming, let's put them to good use. Like, we expect all of them to die, so let's just send them to die. That way we get rid of the bad guys, the bad guy that's coming for us, and the bad guys that we got under lock and key. Let's just throw them at each other and hope they all kill each other. Win-win. So, that's the premise of the movie. We don't know who they're fighting in the movie based on the trailer. And we never, we don't know what they're doing. Like, a trailer is supposed to pull you in. Like, it's supposed to interest you and also kind of give you an idea of what the story's about. So you kind of go, oh, so this is a jungle temple caper where, like Indiana Jones. Okay, it's this archaeologist that goes to these weird places and he's being chased by Nazis, but he's trying to get the Ark. Is he gonna get it? Is he gonna stop the Nazis? You have these questions. Trailers are supposed to pull you in, give you questions that the movie is then supposed to answer. This trailer has none of that. I don't know what I'm getting into. And originally, when I first saw the first trailer, I thought Harley Quinn is gonna just steal this show. It's just gonna steal it because she's gonna be adorable and she's gonna be funny and quirky. The more I've seen of the trailer and the more I've learned about that character, the more I hate her. Haven't seen the movie yet, and I hate her. Because in the trailers and TV spots, she comes off as completely nuts, but not adorable. Like in the animated series where Harley Quinn originated, she was adorable. She got under your skin a little bit, and she was effective, but she was kind of a little coquettish and very adorable about it. She didn't seem like a threat. In this trailer, she just seemed, all of her jokes, or the stuff that I've seen, it seems like one of those, she seems like a person who thinks that she's funny when she's not. Like, she's cracking jokes that nobody's laughing at, except for her. That she thinks she's the funniest person in the room. Also, I'm kind of put off and even turned off by her outfit. Whereas the original Harley, she wears like a jester outfit. And it's quirky and it's weird and it's kind of out of place. But it gives her character, it's Harley. In this movie, her outfit, my first thought was white trash cheerleader prostitute. That's what she looks like. She looks like a white trash prostitute dressing like a cheerleader. And honest to God, today, when I was doing one of my routes, I was driving through town, and I saw this guy and this girl, in East Brunswick, actually, East Brunswick, New Jersey. And I saw this guy and this girl walking down the side of the road, and I immediately thought she was a prostitute, and then I recognized the outfit. So anyone who's cosplaying as Harley from this movie, to everyone who doesn't know who Harley is, you look like a prostitute. Just FYI. So I'm a little put off and turned off by Harley and how she seems just based off of the trailer. You're not going to be funny. You're going to be annoying. You might be a little effective. But you look like a slut. You look like a prostitute, a really cheap one. So I'm turned off of that. I know almost nothing about any of the other characters. I hear my friends are like, "Oh yeah, that guy wasn't even in Suicide Squad." Or these guys, what the hell? I don't know. Yeah, so I'm going in blind on that. But another note on the Joker. This is off Wikipedia, by the way. Jared Leto plays the Joker, and he describes it as nearly Shakespearean and a beautiful disaster of a character. I don't know if I should think that's good. Scrolling down. For some reason, I don't understand why they did this. Influences for the character's appearance include Mexican cartel bosses and the work of Alejandro Jaworski. Leto spoke to the doctor and said he spent with psychopaths. For some reason, he... where was it? I thought I read that he, like, studied Buddhism for some reason. Because, you know, the Joker is really Zen. So, I was playing painful throughout filming preparation. First, become the Joker, maybe older, so on and so forth. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so I'm very turned off by the Joker because Jared Leto's Joker, because we see very little of him in the movie. In fact, my theory right now is, well, again, based off of the trailer, that's the only thing I'm going on. I don't even know if Joker, like, is part of the Suicide Squad. We never see him with the squad of guys. We never see him with the Suicide Squad, ever. We see him a couple times by himself or with Harley, but not with the squad. So what's going on? But back to the Joker's appearance. What's your deal? Like, what are you doing? Like, what? He's got grills and he's got tattoos and, you know, he's gangsta now and, like, he's wearing a wife beater and, I mean, the Joker comes in many shapes and sizes, and and it's more than one person in the comics that has been the Joker. I mean, he's not just one guy. Like, we like to think of him as one guy, as Mark Hamill, as Mark Hamill's Joker or Heath Ledger's Joker. But, so I mean, there's different interpretations of him. But I mean, like, what are you doing, dude? Like, what are you doing? He's a very established guy. He has his suits, he has his hair, he has his... And the hair, too. Joker's hair is usually pretty thick. This looks pretty short cut and, like, spray paint colored. I mean, this doesn't look good. It looks like you're trying way too hard. It looks like they tried way too hard to be something that it's not. Or it looks like... You know, if you've ever gone to a convention and you see somebody... You just see a terrible cosplay... Pick something. I don't care what it is, but it's just a terrible cosplay. Like somebody cosplaying as like Green Lantern, and like it's like a black T-shirt with like green magic marker that's drawn the lamp the lantern, and like his ring is actually like a spider ring painted green. I mean, I see what you're going for, and you're trying really hard, but it's pathetic. Don't stop. Just stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. So, based off of Harley Quinn and Joker, I'm not thrilled with the characters I'm seeing on screen going into it. So I don't imagine I'll like it, but I'm gonna try. You know me. I always try. I do. Honest to God, I don't want to be wasting my time. I don't want to be wasting my time when I go to these movies. That's actually my girlfriend. I need to go. We're gonna head out right now. But anyway, yeah, I'm not expecting a lot going into this movie. I'm really not expecting a lot. I'm not. Yeah, that's it. Sorry it took so long just for the intro, but I thought I'd lay some groundwork out before I get there. I don't know what to expect in the movie. Now one last thing is that there are, like, this movie, when it first, the first edit for this movie was, when the first cut hit test audiences, they hated it. Went back and they did massive reshoots for this movie. Tons of reshoots. And they still don't like it. I think what I read is that the first, like, based off of the first trailer, it looked funny, it looked kooky, it looked kind of like Rush Hour, where, yeah, there's serious stuff happening, but the main crew, your Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, those two guys have great chemistry with each other, and, like, they're being goofy with each other and having fun while they're solving, like, a kidnapping or an assassination, you know. So I thought that's what would happen in this, the original trailer. I thought that's what happened in this movie. These guys they're gonna do their thing, but they're gonna be funny about it, and they're gonna be cool about it. Evidently, that's not how the movie was shot. It was shot really dark, really serious. So when people saw the trailer and then saw the movie, they weren't expecting it and hated it. So they shot a lot of it, and people still hated it. I don't understand how you can have a movie called Suicide Squad with all these supervillains who, these are people that just casually kill people. Like, just walk up and just shoot somebody in the face or stab them or throw acid on them. Like, these people casually, like the Joker just casually kills like a dozen people because he thinks it's funny. So, you know, you got all these murderers and you put them in a squad and you set them out in the world to like take care of a task. They're going to get distracted at some point, or they're going to say F it and just do what they want. So, my question is, how is this movie PG-13? How did you manage that? How? You can't do this source material and not have a rated R movie. I mean, there's got to be violence to this. These characters, you know, it's like doing like a war movie and like having a PG-13 war movie. It's going to feel very dry and it's going to feel very underwhelming and very watered down because you're trying to preserve that rate, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to preserve this rating to get as many people into the theaters, because if they put it at a rated R, I mean, the movie's doing bad. I looked up showtimes on Fandango, and right there in the movie, they post the Rotten Tomato score. I mean, they do because Fandango owns Rotten Tomato. And when I checked this morning, it was 23%. Now it's 20. It's gone up, but it's at 27% on opening day. Like, what movie does that? I mean, that's amazing. That's crazy. So, like, they know they have a stinker. DC, you gotta stop. But you know what? I've gone way too long on this intro. Let me go see this movie. I'll see you in a bit. Okay. Just got back from seeing Suicide Squad, and you'll have to bear with me a little bit. I didn't mention this in the first part. Been a little crazy here with a lot of things. The biggest issue being I had my basement flooded out last week, and here's the pictures. Yeah, that happened. About 1 inch at its deepest. So yeah, I've had an interesting week. Had the windows and dehumidifiers running, and right now I actually have some baking powder, absorbing stuff. Anyway, so I've been a little distracted as of late, and the other thing is it's a little late right now, and I'm actually going to be heading up to Boston for I'm going on vacation. So, and it's the first paid vacation in like 10 years, so this is fun. So I'm going to try and keep this nice and short, relatively speaking, because as y'all know, I can go on for like an hour about a movie. So, Suicide Squad. How was it? Was it any good? Did it warrant the 27% rating on Rotten Tomatoes? Well, I honestly didn't. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Now, I met up with a friend right before getting here, like right after the movie. There's a restaurant nearby. He just happened to be. He texted and said, "Hey man, if you want to join me for dinner before you head up to Boston, I'm gonna be getting in town here, and you want to go here?" And so he was already there, and I swung by, and it's like, "Hey," and so it's funny. He's actually like, I'm getting out of the movie and meeting up with him for dinner. Him and a couple of others were just. Actually, I don't need this part. This is all superfluous. Let me re-enter. Hey guys, I'm back from Suicide Squad, and if I seem a little distracted or a little tired, it's because it's a little late right now, and I've been dealing with two things. I forgot to mention this during the first half of the review, but last week the Central Jersey got hit with a lot of rain, like rain that you usually only see during a typhoon. It was a flash flood kind of situation, and my basement got flooded. And here are the pictures. Yep, that's my basement. And it got to about 1 inch at its deepest, but luckily the entire basement didn't flood. So I've been dealing with that all week. I have 2 dehumidifiers. I had 2 dehumidifiers running nonstop for like 5 days straight until finally it warmed up outside and I had the windows open. And right now I got some baking soda, carpet cleaner, and I got other stuff like plug-ins and stuff. The other thing is I'm leaving for Boston in about 6 hours. So I'm gonna. It's my first vacation, or at least my first like paid vacation in like 10 years. So can't wait. And it's just something that I'm gonna try and keep this. I'm gonna try and keep this short, or at least shorter than usual. You know, like I can go on for about an hour, but I won't do that tonight because I need to get to bed. Anyway. So, Suicide Squad. How was it? Was it any good? Did it warrant the 27% rating on Rotten Tomatoes? Well, the long and the short is it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be. It ultimately isn't a good movie. Ultimately, it's not. I took way too long to say that. No, it's not a good movie. This is a bad movie. It's not as bad as BVS. It's not as bad as Man of Steel, I don't think. But it's a bad movie. This is a bad movie. It earned that 27%. Though, again, to be fair, I don't think it deserved a 27%. Maybe 30%. Because, and I'm speaking of it like I said, I knew nothing about Suicide Squad other than, you know, I heard those 2 words next to each other in a sentence before today, and I looked it up briefly, and by briefly, I typed it into Wikipedia and then immediately didn't care. Seriously. And closed the browser. This is like a year ago when I first heard of Suicide Squad. Whatever. So I knew nothing going into it. Now, funny thing, I ran into a friend. There's a restaurant next to this particular theater, and plans were made that me and my friends were going to meet at this restaurant and then go see like a 10:30 show for Suicide Squad. But I explained to them that after trailers in the movie, you're not going to get out of the theater. You're not going to walk out of the theater until about 1 a.m. And I want to be up and on the road at 6, so that wasn't going to happen. So I went to an earlier showing, and it just worked out that our movie got out at the same time that my friend wanted to meet for dinner. So I saw the movie and then met up for dinner with him, and he got dinner, and then he went to go see the movie. Anyway, he was asking me some particulars about it, and trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible. I explained this character, this character, this character, and then I touched on the character of the Enchantress, who I'd never heard of. And he's like, okay, the Enchantress. And I was like, tell me if this sounds familiar. And I started to break down what the character of the Enchantress does. And he's like, well, that's not the Enchantress I know. So evidently they got the Enchantress 100% wrong. Other than the fact that she's female, everything else is wrong. So, good going. What else? All right, so that's the end of the conversation I have. That's all that matters as far as my friend goes. Back to the movie. So, I was spot on with both the Joker and Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn came off annoying as hell. She actually reminded me a bit of the animated series Harley Quinn a little bit. The actress was trying really, really too hard to be quirky and zany and random and silly. She was trying way too hard. Like, Harley knows what she's doing. Like, this person, the actress played Harley as a real nut job, like really crazy, and just does random stuff. While she is in fact crazy, most of the time, if not all the time, her silliness, in the animated series at least, is a distraction. it's kind of like drunken master fighting, where this is a weird analogy, but legend has it that the drunken master, or myth has it that the drunken master of China, like he was a master kung fu martial artist, but he would always act drunk, so people wouldn't take him seriously, and then he, oh, so drunk, and then he just he does a shoryuken, and they're not expecting it. So that's how Harley is in the animated series, and the comics, as far as I know. I've never read the comics, but in the animated series where she originated, that's how she was. She was weird and silly, but she was never annoying. Like her whenever she was on screen and when she was doing her stuff, it had a purpose. Here, she was really just being quirky and silly for some reason. Like, she was trying too hard. The Joker, get this, Joker, no reason that guy had to be in this movie at all. At all. You can argue, and this is jumping into the movie now, there's so many things that don't make sense in this movie also. Like, even taking into account that it's a comic book movie, that it's a superhero movie, supervillain, it's a comic book movie, even taking that into account, just stupid shit happened. The movie starts out with Harley and literally everyone in jail except for the Joker. The Joker wants Harley back. Whenever we see him on screen, it's weird. At one point, he's sitting in this room where he's got just all this stuff, like all these knives, all these bullets, all these guns, baby clothes. I'm not kidding. Baby clothes, lamps. Just, he's got like the entire Sears catalog just on the floor in this room for some reason, which is never ever. And like you can't chalk that up to, oh, he's just Joker. He's batshit. Joker also. He has a plan. Unlike Heath Ledger Joker said, he doesn't have a plan. Joker has a plan. Joker knows what he's doing. He's kind of like Captain Jack Sparrow, where also he's like, he seems weird, he seems silly, and you're not sure, is he just kind of, does he plan it all out, or does he just make it up as he goes? And I lean towards, he knows what he's doing. He's just making you uncomfortable, and he finds sick humor in what he does. There's no point to why, like, and I know people are going to say, okay, Adam, you're nitpicking. FilmCrazyAdam, you're nitpicking on this. Like, it was weird. It was crazy. What do you need? He's a Joker. Even the Joker has a point to what he's doing. This was just weird for weirdness' sake. Joker doesn't do it unless... I mean, his name is the Joker. He is a joker. He jokes around. Everything has to have a sick punchline, or there has to be a joke here in there somewhere. It just didn't make any sense. Okay, I'm bogging down on minutia. Okay, somebody's gonna say it. I'm moving on. But so every scene that we see him in, there's no reason we needed to see him. Maybe the flashbacks with Harley Quinn, and those were really short. So I guess for anyone who didn't know who Harley was and how she got batshit. The two flashbacks, well, the one flashback where she's a psychiatrist at Arkham and she's talking to him, okay, I needed that. The scene where she jumps into a vat of, I think it was acid, and it kind of melted off the dye in her clothes, and I think her clothes, but didn't hurt her. Or the Joker that jumped in after her, and she jumps in this vat of acid. I think it was acid. Maybe it was acetone. I don't know. Of her own free will. She just jumps in because she loves pudding. Oh, another thing about Harley trying too hard is that the actress really tried too hard to mimic Harley, like her speaking style from the animated series, where Mr. J, or oh, pudding, and she said pudding and Mr. J. But back to the Joker. Other than that one flashback scene where he's like lying on the bed, or the couch, talking to the psychiatrist, you didn't need him at all in this movie. Yeah, he shows up towards the end. Oh, backtrack. While Harley's in jail in Louisiana, she's being basically tortured. Or like when this one particular guard gets bored, he bugs Deadshot.
Yes.
Deadshot and Harley. And so when it becomes apparent that these guys are getting out of jail, he literally walks up to her in full view of everybody, hands her a cell phone and says, "Please call the Joker and tell him not to kill me." And so, of course, she laughs in his face like, "You are so dead," which I don't think he is by the end of the movie, just for the record. And then through the entire movie, she just texts the Joker. Just, how'd the Joker find out where we were? I just texted him. I'm so blown away by that. I'm like, wait, how did nobody see that? Why didn't anybody take it away from him? Like, why are you giving her a phone? Everyone saw this in front, full view of everybody. And she's texting, like, no one questions it at all. Just texting the Joker. So the Joker, halfway through the movie, he hijacks a helicopter that was supposed to be used for extraction at one point, and instead rescues Harley. Amanda Waller. Yeah, Amanda Waller. Calls in an airstrike and says, "They stole our helicopter. Shoot it down." So they do. So Harley is rescued by the Joker, and then immediately her ride goes down. And if not the next scene, then the very next scene, less than 2 minutes of screen time later, she rejoins the group, and literally everyone acts like nothing has happened. Like, oh well, I guess you're back. What was the point of that? What? Why did we do that when ultimately, other than the extraction helicopter being stolen, and okay, you didn't even if you're like, well, we need, as a scriptwriter, even if you're like, well, I have to somehow destroy this helicopter, blow it up. Like, have half of a building drop on it, or the supernatural alien force, or the supernatural extra-dimensional force, have it just take it out haphazardly, or a stray missile. This isn't a hard problem if you're just saying, well, we got to get rid of the evac chopper. And even that, you didn't need all the stuff previous with the Joker to set that up. If he just showed up in this helicopter, I wouldn't have questioned it. And I question everything. Because, he's the Joker. It's like, how did he get there? Well, he's the Joker. He's bat-ass. He, in The Dark Knight, and this is a huge plot hole if ever there was one, the Joker, in The Dark Knight, with Heath Ledger, he somehow rigs that entire hospital to explode, like, over the course of a weekend. Now, I know this is getting off topic of Suicide Squad, but think about this. It takes teams of people. We're talking like 30, 40 guys. Like, we're talking about like 30 guys, 30, 40 guys. It takes them months to ready a building for demolition. And they're digging into the walls. They're busting holes in the drywall and like finding the correct support structures and load-bearing columns and everything. It takes engineers months to figure out where to put this stuff, and then it takes months to rig this place to explode. And the Joker, the most non-low-key person in the world. You're telling me this guy with face paint and green hair is running around this hospital, punching holes in walls, rigging up explosives, and nobody noticed it in a weekend? Like, so, stuff like that. It's like, but at the same time, you kind of roll with it because it was great cinema, and it was great it held great dramatic value in that movie. So it was one of those things that after the fact, I'm like, wait a second, oh come on. But at the time, you kind of roll with it. You're like, he's the Joker. He's crazy enough to do this. So I wouldn't question if Joker just flew, like if he had no screen time, flew in on a helicopter, and just saved Harley. And then that's it. We don't see him again until the very end, where he breaks in and breaks her out, and cut to credits. So there was no point that there was no reason the Joker had to be in this movie. Also, Jared Leto tried way too hard. Way too hard. Oh, God. At one point, I didn't know. I'm like, is he trying to be Humphrey Bogart? Is he, like, I'm like, because he kind of had that speaking pattern, see? Well, I didn't say see, but he had that speaking pattern, yeah. Really good. Like, very breathy. And I'm gonna hurt you good. Like, what are you doing, dude? You're trying way too hard. And again, the appearance of the Joker didn't even, I was like, what are we looking at here? What is this? Why do you have grills? Why do you have tattoos? And my friend, the one who writes nice at the bottom of every single one of my videos, he'll tell me he'll somehow tell me how that's totally canon, and maybe it is, but it's so alien. Like, when you introduce something on screen, the idea is you want to get as many fans as possible, and so doing familiar stuff with the fans is a good way to, you know, ease them into a series. Like, if you want to go full force, different universe, like in the second movie or like halfway through the first movie, fine. But like, it's so weird and so jarring for people when you go in expecting one thing and you get something else, and you're like, he's not really what I thought it was. And that's kind of how this movie was. Like I said in the first part of this review, how people saw the trailer, the Bohemian Rhapsody trailer, and then they saw the movie and they're like, what the hell is this? This isn't what the trailer was. Oh, spoiler. You know the scene in the trailer where they go to the bar and everyone goes down the line and says what they want to drink? Completely cut out of this movie. Not the bar scene. The bar scene was there. But that entire thing where whiskey, water, what do you want? Completely cut out. Completely. There's a lot of stuff in the trailers that completely cut out. Side note, I actually have issue with Amanda Waller being a worse... I know Amanda Waller from Justice League Unlimited and Justice League Unlimited. And she's a badass. Like, she's one of those people that, if Dracula was a real thing, would stare him down. She ain't afraid of you. She ain't afraid of nobody. And she's got, like, top level... She's got, like, more clearance than the President of the United States. And she's always got a force of people around her. Like, she has a posse that like, cartels back down from. And so there's one scene in this movie where she just caps a bunch of FBI agents because they knew too much, but that doesn't make sense. Why were they there? She wouldn't have let low-level clearance people in, and she just fucking murders people. I mean, like, she's badass, and she'll do what needs to be done, but I feel like that was really out of character for her when she just caps like 4 or 5 people doing their job, doing what she told them to. She's like, all right, we got to wipe the hard drives and bye, bang, 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 bang. That's what a villain does. And somebody might argue, well, she is kind of a villain, but that's neither here nor there. Because she's one of those people that she wouldn't be taken alive. In this movie, she was taken alive by the bad guy, by the Enchantress. And, like, her brain was probed so that they could get information out of it. Yeah, no. You can't be that cold-hearted and just kill innocent people, the FBI agents, doing what you told them to do, and then not shoot yourself in the head because you've got a head full of secrets and classified information and stuff. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't. That's different sides of the same. That's different sides of different coins. Like, you can't be lawful good and then lawful evil. You can't be. Other than that, this movie, you can clearly see where reshoots were in terms of where things were massively cut and new scenes were put in where, like, it was very disjointed. This movie, you're not going to be bored per se. You're going to get confused while watching the movie because they rush you. They go from scene to scene really quick, and they don't do a lot of explaining at all on anything. They're just, like, they're really pushing their way through this movie. Like, they're trying to shove it down your throat. Like, they're on a timetable. Like, we got shit to do, and you gotta watch this. Okay, we're going to the next scene. We're going to the next scene. Okay, you're done with that. Let's go to this one. Like I said, it was very disjointed where kind of like Star Trek Beyond, where something would be happening, they'd cut away to a different scene, and you'd expect them to cut back, but they never do. It's like, all right, I guess we're done with that. Oh, I guess that guy's gone. I guess he's okay. What else? Ugh! So the Enchantress. Here's another big thing with the movie. Big plot hole. Is they question early on, and they being the people at the Pentagon, question Amanda really early on and saying, okay, you got all these crazy people, what's to stop them from just leaving after you get them out of jail or killing us? And what she does use is, they describe it as like an explosive that's about as powerful as a hand grenade, but as small as a grain of rice, that they inject under the skin right into everyone's neck. And at one point, they actually make an example of Slipknot. Boomerang convinces him to make a run for it, and so he runs and gets his head blown off by remote. He's like, oh, he's running. Boop, boop. So a little bit of spoiler on that. Slipknot becomes dead. But, okay, that's fine. But at the beginning of the movie, they ask Amanda, how are you keeping them in check? And she says, oh, well, I have this one being, this extra-dimensional being, the Enchantress. Who's that? She was found like in a statue in a cave in South America by an archaeologist or an explorer who cracked it open, snapped the head off for some reason, and now it possesses her. And she's super powerful. She can teleport. She has magic. She can do crazy shit. And, well, what's to stop her from running or just killing everybody? Oh, well, I've got her heart in this nuclear football briefcase that I just keep with me wherever I go. And I just stab it if she starts not listening to me. I just kill her. Okay. This Enchantress is the one that tries to take over the world? I asked that in a question because at the end of the movie I asked, what is she doing? She has this disc circle thing in the sky that light goes up, and here and there around the globe, lightning comes down and breaks things, like aircraft carriers and satellites and some kind of base. So, and she frees her brother. I know, it's weird. I seem to be going off on tangents, but I'm still on the same topic. I'm still on the Enchantress. Her brother, she finds him in his statue. They never explain how they got captured, by the way, by the people in the past, like 6,000 years ago. They captured her, imprisoned her, and they never explain this. And it was never considered an option in the movie. Like, well, why don't we just try to recapture her? I mean, she was put in a box once. Why can't we do it again? Well, it's been 6,000 years. No one knows how. Fair enough. But it never came up. No one ever questioned it. But she found her brother. He possesses a guy. And they start, like, she explains to her brother, yeah, you've been asleep for a while, and people don't worship us as gods anymore. He's like, well, what are we going to do? And she's like, well, we're going to make them worship us like gods again. So her plan is to make a magic machine that shoots lightning and destroys military targets, and then what? Like, she's not going on a loudspeaker or projecting herself in the sky and saying, citizens of Earth, bow before me. She's doing none of the things that you would do. Like, you know how Loki in the Avengers went out and told everyone, yeah, I'm your boss, you should bow before me. She does none of that. So, like, what is her plan? What is she doing? What is her objective? She's just blowing shit up for no reason. No one knows why you're doing this. And your end game does, like, it seems like your end game is to destroy the world, but if you do that, who's going to worship you? Like, it's just so, it makes no sense. There's no answers to my questions. In the end, they beat her and go back to jail, and the Croc gets BET in his sewer, and Deadshot gets to see his kid, help her with math. Which, this entire movie became basically about Deadshot. Yeah. And how he's not, even though he's an assassin, he's not a bad guy at heart. Like, they really pull at your heartstrings to make him a very sympathetic character. And I'm fine with that. Like, Will Smith was the only good thing about this movie. He really was. He made it watchable. He made it, he still got it. He still got the chuck. You get some chuckles out of him. They had some funny parts, but I didn't laugh at most of them. But they make Deadshot this really sympathetic character, and it becomes basically all about them. And every single other character is just background dressing. You only notice Harley's there because she's annoying. Katana's there, and while she's not a bad guy, she does just kill people. And I had an issue with the fact that she seemed very trigger happy with her sword, and she was just ready to kill everybody at every point in time. And my friend was like, oh no, that's kind of how she is, that's kind of her MO, that's what she does, she kills people, she's an assassin, but for good-ish. And I was like, alright, fair enough, but like, she's universally one note, like that's all she does. And it's funny the first 3 times where it's like, you're annoying me, I'm gonna kill you. Hey, you want me to kill him? Stay right there, I'm gonna come and kill you. After that, and you're like, she's got a run-on joke. But by the 16th time she does it, it's not fun. Like, again, people, you might be like, well, that's how she is. Like, then you did a poor job really bringing that character to the screen, because she was universally one note. That's all she did was want to try and kill people. And most of them are, like I said, are just window dressing. Boomerang is this loser. Like, he's this drunk, almost does nothing. Diablo doesn't do anything until he transforms into like this Incan god of fire at some point, which is awesome. But other than that, like, and there's 3 real fight scenes, which are either just brawls with the bad guys between people, or it's the Suicide Squad versus these, I don't know, these human tumor monsters that the Enchantress makes and sends after them, and they shatter or fall apart when you hit them or shoot them. And so I was kind of bored with these fight scenes, because you knew what was gonna, like, it wasn't even interesting. Like, if Deadshot like ricocheted like a bullet like 18 times and it went through like 10 of those guys' heads, that would be interesting. But no, he's just doing, head-on shots. Harley's just hitting him over the head with a mallet or a hammer. Katana's cutting. Like, they're doing exactly what you know they do, and they're not doing it interesting. Like these guys are super talented, they got super abilities, and none of them are using it. Like, yeah, it'd be like watching, I don't know, it'd be like watching Evel Knievel, and instead of him jumping the Grand Canyon, he does just like a regular ramp jump with like 10 feet from one ramp to the other. It's like, okay, you did what you do, you jumped, but it was boring as hell because you barely did anything. Like, I could do that. I didn't need Deadshot to be shooting stuff. I could have done that in the movie. Anybody could have done it. Hell, the army guys that were there were doing that in the movie. So, I guess what I'm saying is that, like, I was just underwhelmed and annoyed, because this movie, I felt rushed, I felt disjointed, I felt there were a lot of things that were completely unnecessary, Joker being, like, at the head of that line. The one good thing about this movie, I'm going to wrap this up in a second, the one good thing about this movie, and I didn't think anyone could ever take the crown away from Guardians of the Galaxy, but Suicide Squad, probably the best, the greatest movie soundtrack ever. I still love Guardians of the Galaxy, but oh my god, so many good songs, so many classic rock, just good songs. They had Without Me by Eminem in it. I was like, ugh. However, as much as I like those songs, I think we did like half a dozen or more of them in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Like, when they introduced Harley, she had her own song. 10 seconds, 15 seconds of that. Then it jumped to Croc, and I think his was like a CCR song. And then it jumped to the exterior of the jail in the prison in Louisiana, and it's House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, I think. they're flying through the city in a helicopter, and it's Spirit in the Sky. Just there's so many good songs in it, but like again, I was like, you didn't let it breathe. You didn't even get to the chorus, or you started the chorus and only did half of it. So as much as I love the songs, they didn't get well with that. So, and I was about to say they went overkill with the CGI, but I mean, I guess the CGI was good. Like there was so much of it, but that was good, I guess. So, being the third movie. Oh, and my best friend didn't even realize this was the third movie in the sequence of DCMU movies. He's like, "This is the third one?" I'm like, "Well, Superman's dead in this one, and this is why Superman's dead in this one, and that's why they're putting together the Suicide Squad. Because what if another alien shows up and our one nuclear deterrent is dead? So we need what's our backup plan? These guys." But kind of circling back to the Enchantress, her deterrent for the rest of the Suicide Squad is what tried to destroy the world. So she by forming the Suicide Squad, or just by having, like, it's a good thing she did to form the Suicide Squad, that Amanda did form the Suicide Squad, or else there would have been no one to stop the Enchantress. Why? It was just a badly thought out plan. Very flawed. So anyway, in conclusion, I wouldn't recommend going to see this movie. It didn't, because like any of the Marvel movies, except any of the MCU movies, except for maybe Thor 2. Yeah. Maybe Thor 2 is the only movie. Thor 2 and Iron Man 2. No, Thor 2 and Iron Man 2. Those are really the only two movies that if you took them out of the MCU, you really wouldn't be missing a whole lot. But all the other movies, they work in conjunction with each other. Like, they set up characters, they introduce characters, or they lead into other things seamlessly. And they things are set up in prior movies that you didn't even realize were setups for future movies. It works. It's so coherent. Marvel, they've got this shit down. DC, nuh-uh. They got nothing. They got fucking nothing. They want so bad to be the MCU, and they are failing. They are failing so bad. And I'm getting so tired right now. It's been a long week and all this stuff. But anyway, cartoons are good. DC, all you have to do is keep doing your animated series, but especially your animated movies. Watch. I still need to see The Killing Joke, but I saw Teen Titans versus Justice League. They've got nothing but good movies. Like, all their direct-to-DVD movies are just great. So good. More or less. But they're just failing. They are failing something fierce with the DCMU. So if you don't see this movie, I don't think you're missing anything. You're missing nothing. Like, if you watch Justice League coming out next March and you don't watch BVS, you're going to be in the dark. You're not going to know what the hell's going on, or at least you're going to be really confused. You don't need to see Suicide Squad. You don't. It wasn't that great. You know, if they're smart, they're going to actually release like a director's cut, and even then, that might suck too. Anyway, that's kind of it for summer movies. Like I said, I'm going on vacation. Hopefully that'll be the reset that I need to really get back into stuff. And other than Kubo and the Two Strings, that's basically it for the summer. There's a couple good movies. Look like they're coming out in September. And in the fall, I mean, Doctor Strange looks amazing. Magnificent Seven looks good. I can hopefully look forward to Rogue One. But anyway, yeah, that's that, people. I hope you guys have a good week. I plan to, and see you next time.
But I'm still determined to fight, and I know it's taken all my strength to keep the emotion alive. suicide.